Bienvenidos! Welcome to Spain on a Fork. Today, we're gonna make one of the easiest, most delicious homemade breads you will ever taste. Folks, we are talking a miracle, no-knead homemade beer bread. This recipe is made with the most basic ingredients. It uses no special equipment. It requires 0% bread making experience, and it's all done in just 1 hour. But you know what? The best thing about this bread is the flavor. Thanks to the yeast in the beer, it gives this quick bread such an incredible texture and flavor. This is seriously gonna completely blow you away. I'm gonna begin by adding in 3 cups of all-purpose flour into a large bowl. Again, this is all-purpose flour, no need for the fancy stuff, just the basics. For the next ingredient, I'm going to add in 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, if you're out of baking powder, here's a great substitute using baking soda and white wine vinegar. Add in 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda into a bowl, along with 1.5 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, and mix them together. And voila, there is your raising agent right there. That equals exactly 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt. And I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients together until they're well combined. Once everything's well mixed, let's add in our wet ingredients. I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is such an important ingredient. This is the base fat of the bread, which is what gives it texture and flavor. And 1 12-ounce can of beer at room temperature. Of course, I'm using a Spanish beer, but you can use whatever beer you want. The one I'm using, I would say, is comparable to, say, a Heineken. But whatever you do, try to use a beer that's not too hoppy. You know, when you add hops into a hot oven for a long time, they get a bitter flavor. And I'm going to start mixing all these ingredients together until they're well combined and we end up with a sticky dough. Again, guys, the secret here, just make sure all these ingredients are well combined. You don't have to overmix this. Once everything's well combined and you end up with a sticky dough, I'm gonna grab a baking pan. The size of this one is 9 inches by 5 inches. I'm gonna add in about half a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil into the pan, and then brush it all over the insides of the pan. This is a very important step. That way when we add our dough in there and we cook it, the bread doesn't stick to the pan. And make sure that your dough is in a single layer. Now, this is very sticky dough, so I like to add a little all-purpose flour to my spatula. That way it easily flattens out without the spatula sticking to the dough. And I'm gonna add our baking pan into a preheated oven, bake only option, 175 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, guys. Very important, make sure you preheat your oven for at least 30 minutes before you add this in there. After exactly 15 minutes, this bread should be perfectly cooked. Now, every oven heats differently, so keep an eye on it after 45 minutes. I'm gonna take it out of the oven. And you can always tell when your bread's done. Stick a toothpick in the middle. And if it comes out cleanly, it is perfectly baked. Now I'm gonna transfer the bread into a wire rack. And look how easily it came out of the baking pan, the beauty of greasing your pan correctly. And I'm gonna let this sit here for about 15 minutes before we cut it. That way that bread can settle. After about 15 minutes, I'm gonna cut a couple slices of bread. That way you guys can see what it looks like inside and give it a try. Seriously, guys, how easy was it to put this bread together? And look how beautiful it came out. I cannot wait to try it. Incredible texture. Here we go. So good. The outside, it's got a beautiful crust. It's nice and crunchy, and the inside, it's pillowy. It kind of melts in your mouth, guys. This is seriously one of the best breads I've ever tasted. Made with the most basic ingredients. No special handling, no kneading, no let the dough rise. Everything done in about an hour. Super delicious. Make this beer bread at home. It is gonna completely blow you away. Really quick before I go, I'd like to give out a quick shout out to one of my patrons, Jesper Home. Again, Jesper, thank you so much for all your support. I truly appreciate you. It's thanks to people like you and the rest of my patrons why Spain on a Fork continues to move forward. If you're not a patron, consider becoming one. Helps with ingredients and equipment to continue making videos like this. You'll find my Patreon link in the description box below and that card above. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.